The virtual has become more real than physical in respect of efficiency, speed, and range. The civilization is on the verge of major shift that is expected to maximize the effects of the unprecedented accessibility and connectedness. In the area of economic relations, the classic distinction between production and consumption is becoming outdated. For example, libraries with their databases, digital collections, and interactive services are gradually moving away from the status of a cultural liability that is domain of demand and consumption towards the status of cultural asset that is the domain of production and supply. Also, close examination of the concept of creativity as a part of the production process reveals that libraries are taking an active part in redefinition of the classic distinction between the original and the copy, and the concepts of authority and dissemination. The idea of the original will lose meaning and already lost meaning in the digital age as distribution and production gradually overlap and becoming inseparable. As regards the time and the space, library is no longer just a physical building, which requires certain time and means of transport to be accessed within the limited time frame of daily working hours, but an aggregation of services and resources that are available at any time, at any place, and for every need, that is in classroom, at home, at work, in conference room like here, or in your pocket, on your mobile device, and so on. Also, bear in mind that libraries of today are providing services not only to human readers, but also to robots. Maybe you have not heard of it. Yes, this is happening as we speak. These are so-called web bots or crawlers, software robots which keep harvesting data from all over the web to generate indexes and make their findings available to all users, linking found data with other available information, databases, sites, portals, etc. One of the secrets of the success, for example, of the National Library of Serbia, our statistic is that we have 20,000 users per day virtually and only a few hundreds physically. So the secret of that success is partly because we achieved this necessity to recognize the robots as our end users also. Isn't this a revolutionary step? In conclusion, to this notion of 3 steps of adoption, evolution, and revolution in libraries, we rest assured that libraries will continue to play an active role in latest shift in the history of civilization, the relevance of which is not limited to domains of culture and technology, but transverses to the fields of economy, society, politics, gnoseology, anthropology, and even ontology, if you have in mind time and space changing. Shifts of this magnitude have no precedent in the history of civilization, and this is what makes them most radical, in a world, revolutionary. Now I would like to go on to propose to you my 3rd thesis, which is, no. For me, try to find this, nomad does not migrate but emulate. Nomad, this one. Okay, that one. What I mean by this, obvious fact and the status question of, excuse me. Okay, I have to finish quickly, I'm sorry. Then I have to shorten my presentation. Would you like, are you interested? Okay. Obvious fact that the stated question of nomadism, or migrations of people, objects, knowledge, information, values, culture, I would like to address to this binary opposition of the concept of migration and emulation. Migration basically for me is endless wandering. Imagine the picture of Odysseus as a model for migration. And emulation versus migration is the code rooted into abundance of metamorphosis, which is Ovid as a model against the Odysseus as a model. My point would be for this one. The one who migrates changes only decorum, but immanently remains the same. The one who emulates, he evolves with the purpose of preserving the core more adoptly. I would like to try to defend the thesis that the omnipresent mobility is just a delusion or just a variation of the one and the same essence, at least when one talks about the books and journals, about the typical library material. Books are a world with no difference between words and objects, since in books, words are objects and objects are words, which is the only substance of each book. If that is not the case, then there is no book in front of us, but something else. The basic code of communication is no ink on the pergament, neither it is lead on the paper, no pixels on the display, but some 30 letters or 9 figures, ciphers, or 8 notes on the music scale. Letters, figures, and notes remain the set of unsuppressible code and medium of the human spirit and civilization which we convey via books and libraries. So this is about my 6th thesis. That is why all these migrations and accelerations that we witness are after all nothing but delusions. The moving and differences are real in the space and time, in the medium of transfer and expansion and multiplication. But that which moves faster and more penetrating than ever before is the same that once moved slower and within a limited scope, even slower and more limited before that. At the same time, that which seems to be an expression and identity of uniquely specific environment and origin gets expressed and articulated in some other environment, either far or close in time and space and in cultural code. So it is not about migration and complete differences, but about emulation, metamorphosis of the same spirit, same content, and same human experience. I will point to the difference in that regard between libraries and museums. A museum is primarily to point out even more radically its function of cognitive, evaluative, and ontological exclusivity, as well as the irrepressibility and invaluableness of direct insight. And library is primarily to throw away exactly that role and to irretrievably set out into the domain of omnipresent virtuality, in which there is no difference between the content and the medium, between the original and the copy. No cognitive, no evaluative, no ontological difference. So I can continue, of course, but there is not much time, and we have to close. I'm really sorry, maybe just one sentence for the conclusion. In our times, the library and the museums are able to constructively and with a spectacular effect learn from one another and cooperate with each other. But only if libraries and museums have no dilemmas and misunderstanding concerning their own complementary nature and purpose. Only if they built and produced upon the immanent difference and complementarity. Thank you very much for your attention.